Oh, dude. Oh.
What the f*** is a horse? It's a horse!
Yeah, welcome back with another banger. Yeah. Hit that like, sub it up, don't react, bounce. Back with another banger. Hit that like, sub it up, don't react, bounce. Y'all feel me? Let's run it.
Can you spot all of the symbolism used at the Zac Brown band concert at the Sphere? Can you?
Gerald Ford is not a per se. He's what I refer to as trisexual. He'll try anything. Any age, anybody, anytime, anywhere, just as long as he had control. Because he had a perversion of power, in addition to his interest in mind control. Therefore, it was Gerald Ford who came out to our house and explained to my father how to raise me in the project according to government specifications. My father had been caught sending through the U.S. mails, and therefore he was approached and told that if he sold me into that project, that he would gain immunity from prosecution. My father remains free from prosecution to date for so-called reasons of national security. Once my father agreed to sell me into the project, I was taken routinely to Mackinac Island, Michigan, which is a political retreat where the Michigan governor's mansion is located. It was a bohemian grove of sorts where politicians met and discussed New World Order controls, where they discussed mind control of the masses, mind control in the school systems, how to use occultism as a trauma base. One of my, at that time, was the Prime Minister of Canada, Pierre Trudeau. Pierre Trudeau is a professed Jesuit. Now, the Jesuits are an intelligence arm of the Catholic Vatican. There's a criminal faction within these Jesuits. Pierre Trudeau represented this criminal faction of the Catholic Church of the Jesuits who believed in mind control of the masses. These guys who are manipulating my mind and programming me for mind control purposes claimed, and these criminals in control of our country as well, claimed to be gods, demons, and aliens, in order that I feel totally helpless, in order that I felt like they were beyond my realm to affect. I'm not saying that there's no such thing as aliens. That would be foolish. But what I am saying is that it was my experience that these were people claiming to be aliens. If there's a reality out there pertaining to any alien influence, we need to sort out the government misinformation and disinformation and mind manipulation techniques that they're using. I know for a fact that the plan is to make all of us feel totally helpless, that what's happening is beyond our realm to affect because we've been taken over by aliens, that our Independence Day is dawning. So beware of that. Understand that those criminals have been keeping information and technology from us under the blanket of national security. They are 25 years ahead of us at least technologically. They're way ahead. So when they say, it's aliens, and they show us some incredible technology, don't fall into the trap of feeling totally helpless, that this is beyond our realm to affect.
Shout out to Kathy O'Brien, survivor of the top secret government mind control program. MK stood on stage in 1996 and described a system the public still struggle to believe exists. Imagine how many people call her crazy. Shout out to the Inspired Channel and Gene Rowland, as well as Brian Rogers. So pretty much the technology we have now, they had back then. At the end of the day, it's all mass manipulation. Y'all don't fall for the hype. Stay grounded.
Is Zach Brown literally showing the entire world that your eyes are portals and how music affects one's brain? If you guys believe that your eyes are portals, you're going to want to see this. The first thing they show you is this large red door with scratch marks all over it. It literally reminded me of the movie Insidious. You guys keep that plot at the forefront of your brain. They travel you through the keyhole of this red door, and you see this little boy laying in bed. He wakes up in the middle of the night, and he turns his radio on, and he's projected. The little boy sits up, and it's almost like he's in a trance state. The music enters his left eye and travels through all the neurons in his brain. As the music's frequency slithers around the neurological pathways, you begin to see portals. Portals of times past, fragmented memories, even trauma, while hearing whispers of demonic entities. Then the next thing you know, that little boy is transported to the red door. Where does that red door lead, you might wonder? Well, the pits of hell, where the door opens up and the crowd is literally surrounded by millions of demons who are making up the chains that hold them prisoner. Remember guys, this is all in the little boy's mind. Now I said in my previous video that these visuals kind of reminded me of Stranger Things. Where was the battle? In their mind. Vecna kind of worked like a parasitic demon, didn't he? When he wanted to target a victim, he would throw their consciousness into a psychic mind state. It kind of reminds me of Freddy Krueger or Venom, wouldn't you say? So you guys tell me, are they putting truth in plain sight, or am I reaching here? And is this a representation of how all of us should be a little bit more careful of what we let enter our minds?
Now I'm wondering what songs were playing during each of the sequences. Out of all the footage I've seen at the Sphere, I gotta say this is the craziest one for real. It seems like the crowd embraced all the imagery, to be honest. It looks like they were having a good time. Were they in a trance? Like Freddy Krueger or Vecna? Shoutouts to A Truth for You.
I'm guessing people love hell. Or they love the idea of feeling like they're in hell. Look at all these people, y'all. This was Zach Brown concert that was in the Sphere in Las Vegas. Y'all cannot tell me this shit don't look demonic. Look at it. Y'all gotta understand that a lot of these celebrities in the entertainment business, the music business, they are soulless vessels. A lot of them lost it when they signed that deal. Look, it look like people chained up, bruh. This shit is wicked, fool. Look at it. Y'all gotta understand that music is not just entertainment. It's a tool for power. If you control the youth, you control the world. And people don't be understanding that spells are real. I know a lot of people in that crowd just like, I'm enjoying the show. But little do they know, they are part of the show. Y'all remember the Travis Scott shit?
I totally feel like they were enjoying the show, not even knowing they were the show. Shoutouts to Zay Reacts. Ain't no telling what type of spells were casted on these folks. It's like the more I see footage from this concert, it's like the more I see.
If you ever feel like you're being followed in Japan, visit one of these stores because it might just save your life. You see, in the early 2000s, Japan witnessed a concerning rise in violent crime. And after a number of high-profile cases involving women being stalked and children attacked on the way to school, Japanese authorities tried something crazy. They realized that these convenience stores are everywhere here, and they often even outnumber police stations and boxes. They're also bright, full of cameras, open 24/7, and they always have at least one member of staff on duty. community. So in 2005, they launched an official nationwide crime prevention partnership with these stores. From that day on, they would act as a safe station for women, children, or anyone who feels like they're in danger. And in just 1 year after launching, the results were staggering. More than 13,000 women took refuge in a convenience store. Around 6,000 lost children found help here, and about 12,000 elderly people were reunited with loved ones after wandering away from home. And now, over a decade later, more than 50,000 stores participate as safety stations, including 7-Eleven, Family Mart, Lawson's, and that covers a staggering 99% of stores nationwide. So make sure to share this video with someone visiting Japan, because who knows, it might just save their life.
Shout out to Dylan Page. That was a good story right there. Shout out to Japan. 7-Eleven, Lawson, and other store. And that's a genius idea. Absolutely. So for those of you planning on taking a trip to Japan, keep a close eye on where the convenience stores are.
熊宝宝呢？喂，怎么回事？小心！那熊宝宝今天有点脾气。
弄他了。咋了呢？打架了？我还好。哇，力气很大哎。嗯，力气很大。呀，但不敢来，不敢弄他。
很好，来。
哦，那个那个烫。哇！
这么小脸的口吃，我还要管他的口呢。看把这个这个是，我的天啊！
我们坐到自己的座位上。
我们
来啊！
来呀！快走！我的天哪！妈妈，妈妈！怎么还上去啊？可能是演示吧。
And where was the tranquilizer gun? And where did the parrot come from? This situation was crazy. Shout out to TMZ.
At the inner core of the cult, astrology is absolutely at the center of much of what they do. I've met so many astrologers who have been on retainers of major global corporations to give them the best astrological time to make a takeover bid, to launch a product, whatever. If you read your horoscope in the morning paper, yes, that's a load of crap. But if you go deeply into it, astrology becomes a science. Everything in this reality is an energetic field of information. The planets and stars are information fields. These are the flows of energy that skilled astrologers are reading.
Freemasons, they understand balance because they believe in duality, white and black, right? We see checkerboard floors. They understand the duality of the universe, the balance of the universe. Same thing with the yin and yang. They did a test on quantum entangled photons. Now, what that is on a quantum level, what makes up the universe. They looked at these photons. It's literally the symbol of yin and yang. So it's literally the balance of the universe. And this is why I give reference to how the Freemasons work, because they understand symbolism, colors, logos, all these things they put in our movies and what we look for.
Perfectly balanced. as all things should be.
And people are like, oh, no, that's bullshit. But then they look into it. They're like, oh, wait a minute. That's a coincidence. That's a coincidence. How many coincidences need to line up before it's not a coincidence?
There's no coincidence.
So they understand the mind. They understand the universe and how it works. I've talked to a Freemason. Even when you get initiated, they have something called a white ball to where you get accepted. Now, if you're out and you're not accepted, what do they give you?
Black ball.
A black ball. That's what the term comes from. You get blackballed out of the industry. You get blackballed out of whatever you're doing.
Decisions you make now have an effect on the past.
What?
Yeah, because time is a loop, like the infinity symbol.
Yeah.
It flows energetically like this. So as you make a decision now, that butterfly effect flows ahead, then flows backwards and affects the past.
Wow.
They have the quantum mirror now, they meaning the elites. And this quantum mirror, they can predict the future. But it's not like looking at a mirror and seeing a reflection on yourself. They send photons into the quantum field. They put data packets on the photon.
Mm-hmm.
The photons come back, but they come back from a future time with different data packets on them. This whole manhunt you see going on, the ICE thing, I don't think it has anything to do with getting the criminals out of the country. If you look into the biblical text, you discover that there was a manhunt for Yeshua when he was a child. It's the same story over again, playing now in modern times. They are looking for someone, or maybe the parent of someone that's going to be born that has an effect on the future that they don't want. Holy crap.
This is George Smith, and he just went missing at Dracula's castle on some scary movie, nefarious, egregious type situation that happened. So our boy was hiking in the middle of the night in the Cutlight Peroxide in the wilderness on some special white breed ND. Red Bull, nowhere in sight. Why? Strictly for vibes. But then it got mad cold. And so he's like, nah, hold on. I'm gonna have to take shelter in Dracula's castle. So he called up the people and he be like, yo, this is where I'm at. Come help me out. I need to be extracted. So they pull up to the castle. They found a tent and they find some like abandoned food packages, but George is nowhere to be found. So it's like, vampires real? Did they come out, take my boy up top, son? But I know one thing, like, he went missing. Like, there's nowhere to be found. We do not know where George is right now. And he could be somewhere in Dracula's castle just dead, or did somebody kidnap him? I don't know how cold sun was, but I promise to God, I think I may just suffer outside than go in Dracula's castle. Cause saying that out loud, like, okay, I'm gonna go in this joint alone. But now it's like, where the fuck is George? Like, who took him? Cause he's missing. That's the weird part, where it's like, it's not like he just, oh yeah, we think he died. Oh, we found his body. No. They found a tent, they found a sleeping bag, and no fucking George. And they just in the castle. So does that mean somebody was in the castle as well? I was like, oh, what the fuck? You just come into my territory? Do you not know? Vampires is real for real, nigga. Boom. Dead. Gone. I don't know. This shit been wrecking my mind all day. Cause I'm like, wait, how? He made the distress call. They come to see and find, bro. Nothing.
Someone please find George. Hoping he's okay. If there were feral animals in there, I'm sure there would have been trails of blood. And if there was homeless people there, I'm sure the cops would have found him. I would not be surprised if he got hemmed up by a vampire. For real.
Campbell's Chicken Soup.
Dude. I know, he got fired.
Which confirms everything. Campbell's, one of their top execs, got caught on a hot mic speaking down as if the soup is only for poor people. I would never eat this. Why would I eat bioengineered meat?
He's like, the chicken is 3D printed.
Dude, are you kidding me? If that's happening in Campbell's, that means that's a lie. What's on the label?
Like, how much chicken do you need in the soup for it to count?
This is crazy. I mean, imagine what else and other things are we eating?
McDonald's serves 6.5 million burgers a day, which is equivalent to, I think, 97,500 cows per month.
It's impossible, dude.
Where'd they get that beef? You know that theory, they say there's not enough grave sites for all these people that are dying. We seem to have a lot of hamburgers in this world.
Shut up right now.
Don't even say that.
I think we have enough cows for all these hamburgers.
No, but we don't got enough humans.
That's just McDonald's.
Yeah, it's crazy. You think about grocery stores that are actually using real beef, hopefully.
And I know bioengineered meat exists now.
What else is it being used in? I'm this close to becoming vegan.
Causing a traffic jam. Do they just like...
I don't know. I just pulled out of the garage and I saw this going on. It's like this Waymo standoff. Yeah, I was just trying to get out of here, but...
This is so funny. Oh, because they hit each other.
Yeah, kind of. But still, they're just going to like stay there forever. we need to can we call them?
Well, we can call enforcement over here. We can scan and call. Cars is stuck. Cars is stuck. This is so funny. Okay, the guy's here. Goes to this report, and you can open the car, but can you drive the car? So the Waynos.
Charlie's life could have been the Truman Show. That terrifies me more, that nothing in your life is real. Genuinely, I was expecting we're all getting the old band back together and it's gonna be me and Trump and I'm gonna have the FBI help me investigate this and we're gonna figure out what happened to my friend. And it was Candace is the enemy for asking questions. Was Charlie Kirk's life real is what I think I cried the hardest about, because how are you not fighting for him?
DuPont and Burisma, DuPont and Burisma, DuPont and Burisma. That's what Candace Owens is working on with this DuPont connection to Pierre DuPont, this mafia ultimatum, this do or die, 24 hours within the death. And we are working the last 9 years, our research group, on DuPont and Burisma, as Burisma is a cover. Burisma actually means shadow created by one planet on another planet, right? So that's what Burisma means. A shadow, we've worked on it for 9 years, a shadow of Libya, a cover story for Syria, a cover story for Ukraine, the CIA overthrow in Ukraine, and the eventual war, which we were expecting and which did occur. And now we're looking at this Pierre DuPont as the conduit to keep the war going, not just a couple of years, but an Iraq type of war, the Ukraine war to become an Afghanistan type of war, a Vietnam type of war, a 15 to 20 year war. This Burisma plan has been in place for 10 years, starting with the CIA overthrow of Ukraine. Who is the key agent? We had an Henri DuPont. Now Candace has this Pierre DuPont. Who's in the war? Who's in the way of the war? Who's in the way of the war? Who is in the way of the war? Charlie in the way of the war. He started to talk against it. He's about ready to start his big college tour talking against the war. Who is in the way of the war, and what do people do when you get in the way of the war? That's the question we're trying to ask. We're here in Denver. We're going to be moving on to Michigan. We're going to be moving on to Tennessee, going all around the country to ask this question. We're bringing the best people in citizen journalism to tell you the truth.
Yeah, somebody need to get in touch with Candace Owens. Shout outs to the Godfather of Chaos. Some very interesting stuff right here. It's it's way deeper than rap. I can see that Candace has a lot of questions, and these questions seem to go back way further than any of us had any idea if this is all true, allegedly.
Still with me? Then smash like, subscribe, and hit the bell for the React Files. Things only get deeper from here.
I don't even know how to hook this video with this information. This is the craziest thing I've found yet. You gotta know who BlackRock is, and you gotta know what happened in 1971. It's all gonna connect, and I promise it's good. Lock in with me, don't get bored. Something happened in 1971. This is top 1% earners of income. It's when we started seeing a decline in wages. When we started seeing income inequality in the United States. You get home prices since 1971. Last one, because it's my favorite. But you gotta get the point. This is all from what the F happened in 1971. Something happened in 1971. This is our debt. Looks like he could stab somebody. Well, in 1971, this gentleman decided to remove us from the gold standard. If you're unfamiliar with this game, this is Richard Nixon. He was the president of the United States, and during his second term, he would go through one of the most controversial terms in our country's history. He created a world where we could print as much money as we wanted because we didn't have to have a certain amount of dollars per the amount of gold we had. Quick flashback then back to the point where we need to know this. Back in 1944, we had something called Hatton Woods. What was Hatton Woods? Hatton Woods was when we financially tried to take over the world by attaching our dollar to every single currency that mattered in the world, and we did that because we had the utility of gold, and everybody in the world wanted gold. And in fact, every country that wants to get some of our gold, all you got to do is give us $35 and an ounce of it is yours. A couple of countries ran the math. France was one of them, and they began to ran our gold dry, and by the second term of Richard Nixon, something had to be done. How does this all tie to BlackRock? This is Larry Fink, and he is the CEO and founder of BlackRock. Just because he's one of the biggest protagonists of the financial world today does not mean he is the protagonist of yesterday's economic story. See, Larry Fink didn't just come out of thin air. Also, this is officially your mental health warning. If you'd like to not be frustrated, this is where it starts to become abundantly clear what all is going on. Only going to be here for a quick second, but this is a humongous moment in history where bank leaders had a secret meeting to found the central bank of our country. The central bank of our country is called the Federal Reserve. All you need to know is that representatives of Citibank, JP Morgan, and even the Congress got together to form a centralized economic power that we know today as our central bank, the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is a bank. It even lists so right on their website when it was founded, and the first line of who we are is the Federal Reserve is a U.S. central bank. Banks make money by getting interest. Interest from loans such as mortgages, auto loans, business loans, and personal loans. Bretton Woods, which I think I said Hatton Woods earlier, if I did, I apologize. Bretton Woods was our chance to take over the world now with our new central bank system. We did that by tethering our dollar to everyone else's currency by allowing them to tap in to all of that gold that we had. Like I said earlier, by the time we got to this man's presidency, we were running out of gold, so we needed some advice. Welcome in the protagonist to our story, Peter G. Peterson. Peter's parents came to America in the early 1920s as immigrants from South Greece. He would attend University of Chicago's School of Business in 1951, receiving his MBA. Quick ADHD side note, when I was growing up, anytime somebody said they had an MBA, I always in my brain thought that they were saying they used to be in the NBA, and there were so many short old white dudes that I just thought were ballers back in the day. Starting at an advertising agency, he would eventually work his way all the way up to CEO of this movie equipment producer. He would then be the CEO of Lehman Brothers, who were one of the banks that actually failed during the big financial crisis of 2008. He was the CEO of Bell & Howell from 63 to 71, and then of Lehman Brothers from 73 to 84. But he had this weird gap between 71 and 73 of about a year and a half that was just unaccounted for in his CEO repertoire. Now, the guy that did the tapping of the shoulder was not Larry Fink, but Larry Fink in today's market, 2025, is very grateful for what was about to happen. Our friend Pete here unfortunately passed away in 2018, but the number one thing on his resume had nothing to do with the two companies he CEO'd. When he passed away, the number one thing people talked about was the company that he helped co-found, the Blackstone Group. Zach, that sounds a lot like BlackRock. So Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, didn't just come out of thin air. He was originally on the board of directors for Blackstone, the group that Peter founded. And so in 1971, when Peter was on a CEO hiatus, Richard Nixon had a big issue he was looking to have solved, and it had to do with monetary policy. Now remember, the wealth share since 1971 and inflation since 1971 is a huge reason everything's unaffordable today, but it's also the biggest reason why people like Larry Fink hold so many trillions worth of assets, because everything's gotten more expensive, so everything they own is worth more. The only way that Larry could have the trillions in assets he has today is if there was less monetary discipline. See, we need money to inflate, but the only way money inflates is if there's more of it. And if we keep this gold standard around, we frankly just can't print enough money to make our assets worth enough. What would inevitably cause graphs like we have today when we look at our national debt all started in 1971, when we removed ourselves from the financial discipline that came with having utility-backed currency. Did Richard make this decision on his own? You know, Richard Nixon had what every president has. He had an appointed Secretary of Commerce. And Richard Nixon was a lucky guy, because his secretary actually drafted up an entire report that labeled every single country and showed how we were falling behind in global trade. The report really impressed Nixon to the point where he went ahead in August of 1971, released us from the gold standard, upending us from that 1944 meeting that was had with the other 40 countries about their currencies. It was done. It was over. We're not attaching our dollar to gold anymore, and the inflation would begin as we walk through all those graphs. Larry Fink and the BlackRocks of the world continue to stack trillions of assets that only keep accumulating more wealth due to things like inflation that all stem from 1971's gold standard being released. But who wrote that report? You may have already connected the dots. Yeah, so remember that 1.5 year gap in his CEO career lifestyle? Yeah, he spent it as the Secretary of Commerce for Richard Nixon, causing one of the most controversial economic policies that has ever been passed under any presidential term that would inevitably lead to Watergate and his impeachment. 7 of the 8 people that broke into the Watergate office that caused the Watergate scandal were former CIA intelligence officers or translators. That's weird. With money free to print, he would create Blackstone. Blackstone would birth this guy, and this guy owns pretty much everything in America. A little fun fact for you to chew on as you leave is Peter Peterson would also serve as the chairman of the Council of Foreign Relations in the U.S. government for 22 years, taking the seat of an all-familiar name who had this position beforehand, a very innocent name, David Rockefeller.
Yo, the BlackRock connections are crazy. That inflation graph is wild. Like, bro, that pretty much got us to where we're at now. Shout out to Zachary Loft. That was a great breakdown. And of all connections, the Rockefellers.
I just realized this is like the perfect place to come and sit and smoke. Cause look at this. Sit right here. Hell yeah. This is my view. Y'all, a cigarette right now. I don't even smoke cigarettes, but it warm you up, you know? I'm fucking cold. I felt like there was somebody behind me, but so this is as close as I'm going to get, but y'all can see it's like angled and it goes into the mountain. It doesn't look like it, but it's a little bit more deeper here. My feet would get wet, and these shoes, yeah, no, and it's cold. But yeah, I'm about to head out of here because my feelings been, I don't know, it don't feel right now. But yeah, I don't have service. No, this is the worst part about exploring here is when you get like that when you get the feeling that you're being watched or followed. You can't, it's a little bit of a ways to get back to where you came from. Over there.
This is one of the creepiest urban legends in Japan, the Kuchisake Onna. In Japan, there's a question people say you should never hear at night. Am I beautiful? It may sound like a simple question, but what you answer next will decide your fate. She is said to appear on a quiet street, eerily tall, still as a rock, and half hidden behind a surgical mask. Once she makes contact with you, she asks, "Am I beautiful?" If you answer yes, she removes her mask, not to smile, but to show you a mouth stretched into an unnatural grin. If you answer no, she becomes aggressive and kills you. I mean, she kinda sounds like a vain girl that just wants to be pampered. Aw, poor Kuchisake Onna. But if you say nothing and you just walk away, she doesn't disappear. She follows you until you eventually say yes. But here's where it gets weird, because in the 1970s, reports of sightings spread across Japan. Yes, people actually reported seeing this Kuchisake Onna, especially in Gifu and Nagasaki prefecture. Schools shortened their hours, teachers escorted children home, and police even increased patrol. Newspapers wrote headlines not because anyone had proof, but because fear had already taken over. The Kuchisake Onna wasn't just a ghost story. It was a national panic. But who is the Kuchisake Onna? Some say she was a betrayed woman. Others say she's a restless spirit. But many folklorists believe she represents something deeper, the fear of being judged. Because in Japanese culture, appearances carry social pressure. Beauty, politeness, perfection, they are expectations people feel every day. And the legend turns that pressure into a trap. Because no matter how you answer, there is no safe choice. And maybe that's why the Kuchisake Onna resonates so well in Japan. Because deep down, the story isn't just about a ghostly figure in a dark street. It's about the fear of being cornered by expectations, judged by standards we never chose, and punished for answers we never wanted to give. It's one of the most interesting folklore creatures I've ever studied, and I love the parallel it has with the culture that it was birthed from. Like, it's interesting to know the backstory of folklore creatures and urban legends. And if you're interested to know more stories like these, follow for more.
Yeah, that urban legend is creepy as hell. Shout out to Sneaky Sushi. I think it's very interesting the parallels it had with its culture back then in the 70s. Creepy and informative.
Get the video on this. Tracy Morgan. Oh, Tracy. What? Hey, what did I just say? Wait. What did you say? Nah. What did you say? Bro, what did you just say? Tracy, my boy out here. Put your camera down. What did you say? It's Tracy Morgan. Tracy Morgan. What does that mean? I don't know. My boy said Tracy. Post the rounds, nigga. I'm not talking to you, homie. I don't need you to tell me. Whatever. I'm asking you a question. I ain't calling you out. What's the problem? You got a problem with me asking questions? And I don't understand. I don't know what that means either. That's why I'm asking you what it means. That's the only way I can understand by asking questions. So I was taking a picture to show you love because you were trying to be funny. So what you mean Tracy, my boy? What that mean? Everyone say Tracy, so I'm saying Tracy. I ain't hear nobody say Tracy. You know what I'm saying? Play stupid either with your man if you talk about Tracy. I don't know what y'all doing.
Hollywood is terrified of the power of these streamers, bro.
I'll tell you this right now, and I know this for sure. I've met all these guys in Hollywood since I got in the movie business. Hollywood is so scared of you and all your buddies. Seriously. They are so scared of you and Kai and Aiden. You guys are commanding all the attention in the world. You're so much bigger than like Leonardo DiCaprio. That guy makes a post. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't go anywhere. Your stuff is hundreds and hundreds of millions, which is why I'm really delighted to meet you. That's crazy to hear that. I swear to God, I'm a data man. I have all this data on everything.
When they're terrified, they make moves. That is a warning. They have infiltrated streaming. He's letting you know right now. They're not gonna sit by and let streaming just happen and let y'all do your thing and we do movies over here. No, they want everything that's grassroots. They take it over, just like hip hop.
I totally agree. Like we was talking about in our last video with the Streamer Awards, and how Zay Reacts was talking about how it could have been a humiliation ritual. The industry is definitely terrified, especially with the rise of AI. Shout outs to Cash Rules the Matrix 333.
I think the mistake they made, and I've said on my podcast, she should have never become the CEO and chairman overnight. Because now, when people have questions, you got to answer them, right? You're not just a grieving widow, which there has to be respectability for and space and allowing her to be a mother. But you very quickly decided that you were equipped to be Charlie. Well, guess what? That's going to be a trial by fire. Okay, Charlie had to go through it. It's painful. The public's going to go through every layer of your life. They're going to be like, and so people go, it's not fair. You can't do what we call this is the post-school shooting thing, which is like a school shooting is such a tragic event, and then suddenly they're like, you have to listen to David Hogg, and you can't question David Hogg. It's like, but I got effing questions for David Hogg, right? If you're now going to say that I have to accept him as a political leader, I'm sorry if tragedy happened to you, it's fair for me to say, David Hogg, I have why are you on CNN? And I think that's happening, and so people are feeling like, hey, it's not fair to ask her any questions because her husband just died, okay? But they should have put in place an interim CEO. Like that's what any company would do. You would just say for a couple of months, we got to figure things out. The COO is going to become the CEO and give everybody time to grieve and kind of address the fact that this is like a new company and like we've got to figure things out without the head of the company, So I think they made a managerial error. All is fair in love and war is what I mean. It's like that if you're going to be in that position, everyone goes through it. You're going through it. I'm going through it every day. That's what it means to be. It's the downsides of fame. Like they're going to go through every area of your life. So I think it's not fair, but it's fair. Do you know what I mean? Like everyone does it. It's just a part of being in the public eye.
The NFL better launch an investigation on Jalen Hurts immediately. First off, he became the first player in NFL history to register not 1, but 2 turnovers in one play. -4 fantasy points in one play. Look at him. But right before that, he threw a pass 100 yards over Devontae Smith's head for another pick. Luckily for him, they ruled this incomplete, so you won't even see that interception on the stat sheet. Then he keeps it rolling. Later in the quarter, throws an absolute missile to the other team. Another one. And then in the fourth quarter, he gives A.J. Brown a 100-mile-per-hour wobbler hospital pass that he drops, and it gets picked again. Should he have caught the pass? Sure. Did Jalen Hurts lead him to getting his ribs rearranged if he made a play on the ball? Yes. And then with the game on the line, field goal ties it, so just don't turn it over. He throws off his back foot into traffic, and it's picked off again. And by the way, if you want to stay updated on the NFL, make sure you're following. Nearly 5 interceptions and a fumble for a player that has 2 interceptions all year. That is investigation worthy.
He said it's investigation worthy. Shout out to the Ball Boy podcast. With all these sports betting apps, people are paying closer attention to what's going on the field. This whole week, a whole lot of uncharacteristic plays were happening.
I told y'all before, America is a scam. The government is a scam. Politics is a scam. All of these big corporations is a scam. Now look, Zillow can possibly be hit with RICO charges. Let's get into this. Zillow is currently the target of a class action lawsuit that includes allegations under the Racketeering Influence and Corrupt Organization Act, RICO. So on November 19th of 2025, an amended class action complaint was filed in the federal court that adds RICO claims against Zillow, alleging the company, along with certain brokerages, operated a coordinated scheme to steer home buyers to Zillow affiliated agents and services. The complaint claims Zillow's programs like Flex referral program and its in-house mortgage earned Zillow home loans constitutes a fraudulent enterprise using deceptive practices, hidden fees, referral quotas, and other costs to allegedly inflate commissions. The RICO claims are allegations, not proof. Being faced with RICO allegations does not mean Zillow has been convicted or officially charged under the RICO. As of now, this is a civil lawsuit, not a criminal indictment. RICO applies to both criminal and civil claims, but being sued civilly does not carry prison risk. The case is still in its early stages. Allegations remain to be proven in court, and Zillow, as far as public records show, has denied wrongdoing or not yet responded. This is crazy. Furthermore, they're saying a lot of stuff that Zillow is posting on his website is inaccurate, such as the value of properties, and they're saying there's a lot of property that's posted on Zillow that's not even on the market. So y'all let me know how y'all feel about this Zillow RICO charges in the comment, man. Let's talk about it.
That's Blockbuster right there. Shout out to Mr. Ricky Walton. I haven't heard about this story. Shout out to Queen Serenity 1, who just put me on what's going on over here. Yo, that's absolutely sounds like a racket. And if any of y'all bought a home through Zillow, hey, make sure y'all look into all of that and do some research. There might be some bread headed your way. For real.
Medellin, Colombia. We found a UFO. And I'm gonna zoom into it.
Bro, my food is gonna burn.
Where is it at?
Bro, they gonna say this shit like...
It's right here. It's right here. Okay.
It's about to go through the clouds soon.
Nah, that's a hot air balloon. Fuck no. That shit.
No, it's not no hot air balloon.
A hot air balloon. Look at this. We found a fucking UFO. That is a fucking UFO. What
is that? It's like a diamond shape. Bro, what the fuck is that?
Yo, that's not a balloon. That's too big to be.
Bro, that's like a diamond shape.
Look at that shit. That's a perfect shape. Bro, you gotta keep.
Bro, what is that? It's like rotating.
It's rotating?
Yes, look.
It's just, it's not like flipping like a bag.
Nah, that's like genuinely shocked right now. This is fucking weird. But I'm dead ass shaking. Like, bro, look at my. Cause I thought it was like, we just like seen a bag or something. Yeah. Like, there's no.
No, that's fire coming out.
Yes, it's going up.
UFO, bro.
You see the flame?
Yeah, there's flames.
Yo, bro, that's a fucking UFO.
What the fuck? Wait, let me see. Wait. Hold it.
Big to be a bag. You know how big? You know how far away that is? You know how little a bag is? There's no way.
Bro, why is the stuff around it looking so weird though?
And the wind will be
Why is there
carrying it way
like
different.
It would, like, it'd be moving different.
It's, wait, did it stop? No. If it
do
stopped.
you see like the orb of light around the figure itself? Like there's something around, like that's weird.
Yeah, that's a perfect shape.
Changing shape.
Yeah, if that was a bag, it would be. No, that's not a bag.
Keep recording.
Bro, what is that?
Just zoom off in a second.
And now it's still. Wait, no, it's not. I'm looking at it in person.
Bro, what is that? It's actually insane. What's that? No, bro, take a video on foot.
Fuck, I don't know where it's at.
Bro, what the fuck?
I need to get this video off you as soon as we're done. That's all we need. Honestly, bro, the videos that.
Because of the fire propulsion, I'm thinking it's man-made. Unidentified flying object out in Medellin, Colombia. Shout out to Marcello Lorenzo. The aura around it could have been because of gas, or maybe his cloaking system was malfunctioning. What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below.
What in the devil is going on right here? I'm not talking about the viewer who says they saw an eagle. I'm talking about the warped faces all around the main dude right behind me. And I gotta show you something else in a second too. Look at this face. What is going on with this? Something is not right in this room. You can literally see it. You can even feel it. We've seen this before in likewise places. It reminds me an awful lot of what I'm about to show you in a second. And yeah, remember, he puts his glasses on, he can see him, he takes them off. He can't see him. They live, you know, this right here. In this, we see people completely, literally morph from what they were before. This is a real video of a real hearing. And these people come out looking like this. I don't think it's a coincidence, you guys, right on, like straight up on the news.
Was that a phone filter? How is that even possible? Shout outs to the real Moon Henry. Maybe the technology in the film They Live could be, or maybe is the technology that's in our cell phones. The lens technology has caught up from the 80s for sure.
So this is upstate South Carolina, December 7th, 4:30 a.m.
There's a weird dust in the air. It's not moisture. It was completely blanketed white today from the massive rain yesterday, and now whatever it was, it's right here. It's blowing around right now. That's not snow. That's not wet. That's dust in the air. This is bad, people.
And just like that, the mysterious fog is back. Now, it's been reported that a 400-mile-long radiation fog blankets 13 million Americans in California. And if you guys remember, the same time last year where we had this mysterious fog covering over 30 states where there's reports of residue, weird smells, well, this time there's even more dots connect. Now, they're calling it radiation fog due to when the ground cools off quickly after sunset, radiating all the heat back into the air after the fall and winter. Here's why they're calling it dangerous. They're saying the toxic particles from factories and car exhaust get trapped in the fog, which causes various respiratory problems. Basically, they're saying this fog doesn't move, it just stays on top, like spraying aerosol in a bowl and putting a top on it. But are we buying any of this? Because for one, that doesn't sound right. Two, here's a U.S. patent for process and apparatus for the production of intense artificial clouds, fogs, and mists. And here's what that apparatus looks like for good measure. Coincidence? Let's keep going. Now, speaking of weather and radiation, just last week, they grounded over 6,000 Airbuses due to solar radiation impacting their flight systems. There's even reports of a JetBlue flight that lost altitude, injuring over a dozen people because of this. Not to mention, Julian Assange actually warned us about this back in 2018.
Intelligent evil dust scattered everywhere like confetti in everything.
Now, on one hand, they could be manipulating the weather to the point of no return where our atmosphere is completely cooked, resulting in things like this. There's a nationwide Arctic blast set to hit possibly new record lows across 15 states. Or it could be one big psyop that we're falling for again because the Illuminati card game that predicted everything in the last 30 years strikes again. I mean, you have the International Weather Organization card, you have the weather satellite card that reads, real weather satellites don't just report the weather, they change it. You can't make this up. Make sure you guys hit up my YouTube, The Maverick Approach, but what do you guys think is going on? Let me know below.
I think this is way more than a coincidence. And could this be that dust that we just seen in the previous video in South Carolina? Shout out to Maverick Approach.
This footage that's coming out of Philadelphia. This was captured by an unidentified man who heard what sounded like an animal in pain. So of course he went to investigate, and what he sees in that alley absolutely terrifies him because the only thing he can think of is a hellhound, and the sound that this thing is making, it's almost like it is intentionally trying to draw in prey. I don't think this is a normal dog. Take a look at this video, comment below, tell me what you think.
That ain't sound like no dog. That ain't look like no dog. It almost looked like a panther. It definitely sounded like it was trying to lure him in. For real. Shout outs to Paranormal Link.
Scary games that you should never play. Am I going to tell you how to play it? Of course I am. Of course I am. But don't. This is called The Man in the Field, and supposedly if you beat this game, you get good luck and good fortune for an entire year. But if you lose, you don't want to know what happens. The thing you have to do is summon the man, and to do this, you need to go into your backyard at night. You'll go with a lantern and shout 7 times, "Who will scare the crow away?" Called out 7 times and don't hear anything, the game doesn't want to play with you, so you're safe. What you should hear is, "But that is not your biggest worry." This now means the game has begun. You're going to want to go into your house, into a room that has literally one door, and anything that can open, drawers, cupboards, bags, close all of them, this is your safe room. After you leave this room, you will notice that everything everywhere is all open. You may see shadowy figures walking around the house, but don't worry about them, and whatever you do, do not look out the window, because if you do, goodbye. All the stuff that opens, you're going to want to run around and close absolutely everything. So everything's closed, return to your safe room and don't open your eyes until 6 a.m.
Don't worry, I will never play that game. Shout outs to his Matt W01.
ChatGPT hit the 500 billion search mark way faster than Google did. I mean, ChatGPT hit it in like less than a year, right? Mm-hmm. In Google, it took how long? Like several years?
Several years, yeah.
Several years. And so it just shows like the way people are looking for things has changed. Users don't want links. They don't want to browse for things themselves. They want to ask questions, and they want the answers relevant to the way they ask the question, contextualized to the scenario and their personal needs and all of the things that are now available through AI platforms and chats, because AI learns who you are, and everything you talk to on your ChatGPT account, ChatGPT remembers. So if you're asking it a question, it knows your previous preferences and all of the things, and it's going to give you actually real world advice on what you want. And now as a business owner, you can position yourself to be the real world advice. You can position yourself to be steered towards.
What the fuck do we do? Do we go downstairs?
Oh my god, I don't know.
Should we go outside? No, but like for seriously, like right now.
Bruh.
What the fuck do we actually do? Should we go downstairs to be safe?
Maybe we'll have to the window.
What the fuck do you do in this situation?
No carpet.
Bro, that is fucking weird, man. No. That is the building is moving. Okay, so turns out what we felt was real. This was not an exaggeration. An earthquake has just hit. They are saying 7.6 magnitude earthquake. So this is Japan's meteorological agency, 7.6, 11:15 off of the coast of Amori. Here we've got CNN doing breaking news, 7.6 magnitude earthquake. Powerful earthquake strikes off the coast of Japan, triggers tsunami warning. This is so freaking crazy. I was literally in the middle of sending a voice note as the whole building was shaking. Listen to this.
What was I saying? Oh yeah, Little Africa. It's the biggest African population. Holy shit, is that a fucking earthquake? Oh my god! That's a fucking earthquake! Oh my god!
It literally felt like you're on a rocking boat. And this earthquake is so far away from Tokyo. The fact that we could feel it all the way here is insane. But holy shit, guys! There you go! Reporting from the center of where a freaking earthquake is struck. What the fuck?
What do you do in that situation, especially being in a hotel? Shoutouts to Dylan Page. I mean, don't run to the glass window, that's for sure.
So I thought this is what I was gonna cook today. And I started to clean it thinking that this was just some outside skin. As you can see, I'm trying to push my finger through it and I cannot. And then I see this film on here. Like, it is so hard. It literally looks like, I don't know guys, tell me if I'm crazy, but like, it is so hard. It looks exactly like plastic. Here is one that I had already pulled off. And I'm not sure what this is. Even down inside of there, as you can see, it's like plastic. Look at this. And this is honeysuckle. So I thought that it would be okay. Again, can you see the shininess on here? I mean, you guys can tell me if, look at this. It clearly looks like plastic that I'm pulling off. I don't know. What are they doing to this food? Like, it even sounds like plastic. It's so hard to pull off. Look. Look how hard it is to pull off. And it's all through here. This looks exactly like hard plastic. Okay guys, tell me what you think. If this is normal or what you guys think, but it's all throughout. Okay guys, tell me what you think.
The NFL needs to investigate both the refs and the entire Raiders coaching staff after what we just witnessed, because I have never seen anything this suspicious before. The Raiders have the ball at their own 41 and there's only 16 seconds left in the game. Now, anywhere you look, this game had the Broncos favored by anywhere from 7.5 to 8.5 points. And as you can see here, the Raiders currently trail by 10. So if you bet the Broncos minus 7.5, you're thinking, I'm good. I mean, the Raiders aren't going 60 yards in 16 seconds with their backup quarterback. So on 2nd and 10, the Raiders drop back to pass. And as the QB scrambles outside the pocket, he finds a receiver in the middle of the field. And as you can see here, he's touched down by the defense, and there's only 6 seconds left. So now the clock's just gonna run out, and if you bet the Broncos -7.5, you're gonna win, right?
And he's got Lockett, but I don't know if they'll be able to spike it in time. Oh, a flag comes out. Delay of game. Defense, number 22.
Wrong, the refs call a meaningless delay of game, stopping the clock and keeping the game alive. And by the way, if you like elite sports content like this, make sure to follow. But that's okay, there's still only 4 seconds left, and the Raiders only have 1 play to score a touchdown from the 30-yard line. So you're still good, right? What are they doing?
And Carlson's kick
You're taking a
is
field goal?
good with no time left.
Wrong again, because with just 4 seconds left, the Raiders decide to kick a field goal for no reason whatsoever as time expires. So they end up losing by 7 instead of 10. And because of that meaningless decision, you lost the bet. And to make it even 10 times worse, guess where this game was being played? None other than Las Vegas. So basically, Vegas literally made the call.
Wow, literally, Vegas made the call. A delay of game on the defense. How? Like, that doesn't even make sense. Could you imagine if you spent a lot of money on this bet? Being at a bar in Vegas, like you got it all on the line? Like, wow. Shout outs to Justin Morelli.
And I'm assuming everyone knows about the UFO crash, Roswell, 1947.
47, yes. And there were 3 that went down, actually. I've talked to, before they passed away, in the mid-90s, I talked to 3 men who were actually there.
Wow.
Now they're all passed away now. But we have their testimony, and it's in our book. We have a book called Unacknowledged that goes with the documentary, Unacknowledged.
Oh, I have to read that.
Yeah.
But just for anybody who doesn't know, the crash site, the government said it was a weather modification balloon that they retrieved, and then even there's military people that came out back in the 70s and admitted that it was in fact UFOs.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. 3 of them. Actually, one was blown to smithereens. But see, they didn't just come in there and crash in a thunderstorm. That's a myth. What we have developed all the way back to Nikola Tesla, he had what are called scalar electromagnetic systems. The scalar, the light we're looking at is a waveform. But a scalar signal is a point that goes out in a straight line. So it's multiple the speeds of light, velocity.
Wow.
Yeah. And those have been weaponized. Okay. And those are what we're targeting the non-human, the ET craft with, and knocking them down.
So I've written a book, Clinton, Bush, and CIA Conspiracies, and I researched the hell out of the Clinton crime family. And that's what led me to Epstein. So he was a serial rapist and cokehead going back to when he was the governor of Arkansas. And it was the CIA, they wanted the sleaziest, most corrupt governor to choose that state to smuggle the white powder in from South America to finance these wars against the communists in Nicaragua. And Bill Clinton provided the state security for the drug drops, and his own brother, half-brother Roger Clinton, was busted buying coke from an undercover cop and recorded saying, some of this is for Bill, he's got a nose like a vacuum cleaner. And that cop knew if he didn't out that arrest really quickly, it would all get covered up. So they put Roger Clinton in prison to show that no one is above the law, and the Clintons are moral, upstanding pillars of the community. Meanwhile, he's got multiple allegations of women, sexual assaults, and Hillary Clinton tracked a lot of these women down with private investigators, threatened their lives, pets were murdered, people were thrown off balconies, and this is the genesis of the hashtag Clinton body count. They had a coroner, Fahmy Malik, who, when Bill's mum had accidentally unalived someone when she was working in the medical profession, Fahmy Malik had come in and he adjusted the cause of death. So Bill Clinton owed him for the rest of his life. And Fahmy Malik would come in, and if you had been shot in the head, or if someone had strangled you, he would say that you drowned in a swimming pool. I've done a whole chapter on those in Clinton, Bush, and CIA Conspiracies.
Yeah, that's a wrap. Hope you enjoyed the deep dive. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider to give it a like, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. Shout outs to all the reactors. Thanks again. Till next time.